Hello everyone, welcome to another episode here on Arbaal Legendary Campaign. On episode 20, we do have a corn cult Magus. Let's establish a cult. There's some differences here. I didn't remember one of them. I'm gonna be so... I'm gonna show you the one that I wasn't remembering. So, I completely forgot that there's an option there to completely heal everyone. So this is good because it already gives you corn corruption. And if the corn corruption is 75 or more, it gives even more corruption. So it's something that we can go for. And that's the Cult Magus Chambers. And then there's the Ritual of Blood, which instantly replenishes all units faction-wide. I completely had forgotten about this. So that's such an important one. Because sometimes all that you need is that... I wish the Cult Magus actually enhanced those cults a little bit. So now I'm thinking, well, I'm going to be able to generate the necessary corn corruption. So let's try it out. Let's try out. It actually doesn't have the typical one. So let's see if I can establish it a little bit with a little bit more corruption. But it's always difficult. I think the best place is always the singular settlements. Because it just helps out a little bit. So let's see what we have to do. So Scarbrand has been conquering all the places that needs. There's a rebellion here, so this is what I mentioned, where this is all the time. Yeah, let's go Blood for the Blood God. There's nothing really there to sack or anything. That's why I mentioned that this place I keep repairing it all the time. And now we're gonna go against Queen Khalida. And she has a couple of armies there, but I also have a couple of armies, plus a blood host. So this is just a matter of trying to decide how best to approach the battle. Let me approach the gentleman. Let me approach Scarbrand here. No. Do I want that? Let me see what happens. If they flee, it's easier for me. Oh, okay. They don't flee, so I have to flee. The reason for this is because if they would flee, then I wouldn't need to use Scarbrand in Forced March, likely. I would just need to use him in normal March. But now, yeah. Now they're gonna flee. So, which army do we attack? Do we attack High Queen Khalida's army? Or do we attack the other one? I think the other one would be more important, with Scarbrand likely coming in for the help, and then I'll deal with 3 armies against one with High Queen Khalida. So yeah, that should be just fine. So yeah, doesn't seem like it's going to be too much of a problem. Especially when Scarbrand arrives, but the biggest problem is I'll try to use my Furies to take care of the cavalry, the catapult units, and then my cavalry is just gonna go on the other side, trying to at least avoid me being overwhelmed. So it's like sacrificing a couple of Furies and some Hounds to prevent the rest of my army from being overrun by the enemy. So yep, Furies should be able to deal enough with the artillery. The enemy does send forces to assist, but it's very slow doing so. Sending in the Tomb Scorpion, it does some nice damage against my units, and it looks awesome. It's one of the units that looks the most awesome in the whole game, actually. But it isn't enough for me to prevent me from taking care of the objective, which is to destroy those. So yeah. And over here, just the Hounds doing their damage, which is always nice. And yeah, feels good. It's not exactly the best matchup for them, but they are keeping up, what, 3 units of the enemy here. That's good. 1 unit of halberds coming in. So yeah, I'm going to lose the Furies. That's fine. This is a blood host, so all of these units are, you know, not essential. Not essential. I like to keep them as much as possible, but if it is only for a couple of battles, so be it. I don't care. There's plenty of settlements to draw blood hosts from. And here comes Scarbrand throwing his axe. I really like that animation. And then this one, that's just... imagine having to fight against this beast. Imagine having to fight against it with like a stick. Well, it has a point to the end. Yeah. You go and fight him. His axe is as big as mine. Look at that. The axe is actually... Scarbrand's axes are bigger than some of the horses. That's ridiculous. Imagine picking up a horse and that's an axe. Can you imagine that? It's like a guillotine in every single one of them. And it works just as fine. So yeah, these Necropolis Knights, they're doing some good damage against my blood ladders here. But of course my reinforcements have arrived, so they shouldn't cause too much trouble. And in the meantime, I'm sending my Bloodthirsters to take care of the Ushabti Great Bows. This is quite easy for them. And it's one of the reasons why you should have some form of mobility, because by having mobility you can go around like this, go against the enemy missiles. Doing damage to the enemy missiles ensures a faster army losses. Otherwise, what you're going to have is that they're going to shoot for too long, maybe break your infantry, and then you're the one suffering from army losses very easily. The army losses triggers easily when when everyone is engaged in battle and they have lost some health. That's when it's difficult. And then of course the balance of power suddenly shifts for that, because the balance of power considers also how the auto resolve works. So yeah. And there we go. As soon as I land, I'm not mistaken, this will cause the army losses. Not in time to avoid losing a couple of units, but still, that was nice. That was a decent one. I mean, every cleave with that axe, and that's one of them dead. Yeah, and they're already going into army losses, and it's a victory. Very easy. I did lose quite a lot, actually, including the... and I didn't have anything resurrect, which is kind of sad. But yeah. Let's merge. And you're gonna go against Khalida. Yeah, I'm gonna send them all out and likely attack Khalida. So yeah, that should be easy. Okay, let's get Bellow of Endless Fury. Let's get some more skills, and then I'll attack Khalida, and that's it. So I am in the process of... I'm thinking that Khalida has to survive here, just because I don't have enough to deal with her without taking some losses. So I'll want her to just try to flee, maybe put herself in a worse position, and then I can destroy her. And... over here, I have to get some more troops. I'm gonna get some catapults and stuff. Mainly because I'll definitely be under attack. Already was under attack by a small army, so suddenly the lizardmen are coming in, and that's a bigger problem. So, do I want warp fire throwers? That would be nice. I could get 2 units there, but... I think better poisoned wind, mortar... Yeah, maybe poisoned wind, and over here on the clan Worms, I'm gonna get yet another catapult. Yeah, there we go. There we go, that feels nice. That feels nice. So far so good. Actually, in terms of fighting against Khalida, it's now underway. They have... Zufbar has been confederated by the dwarves, by Thorgrim. So now I can just move in, try to conquer those places. Should be just fine. To be honest, yeah, this is actually working more in my favor. And Ungrim is already replenishing his troops. But I'm sending in Einar Bornspear there. So that should be fine. Yeah, I'm gonna have some more tech on the next turn, which is always nice. And over here, Zufbar, I'm thinking maybe I can attack Oakenhammer, destroy it, and then attack Zufbar. Yeah. I'm a little bit worried. Yeah, this is where I noticed that I still haven't done Destroy of Khorne. And the reason for that is because I already have a sword for Arbaal, so I didn't feel like I was needing it. But I'll do the quest very soon. That means like in 3 episodes or so. Just because I've been busy. Of course, the more that he keeps busy, the worst part, the worst for me. So yeah, overall on Goldtooth's area is just fine. He seems to be in a rush army situation. I've managed to at least stabilize. Now it looks more like a front and not just me with settlements in the middle and him with settlements in the middle of my lands. So now it's a little bit better, already getting a couple more armies. So yeah, all of that is going to ensure that the war against Goldtooth is just about a small war of attrition here in the beginning, and then I'll break through and take them out. I'm even considering going after him, but really the biggest problem is the reinforcements that he can get at this point, because I don't know what armies are in the middle, and I'm pretty sure that he still has a few more. Yeah, that's a lot of territories. He likely does goes all around there in the south as well. So let's get all the buildings that I can. This is just upgrading, by the way, and getting some more stuff like the defenses and stuff. So that's always nice. Let me think. Do I want a garrison here? Because you don't put garrisons to defend. You put them to avoid the enemy just taking them very easily, There we go. Yeah, income from sacking. That's always nice. There we go. Garrisons. Because garrisons just make sure that you have at least a way to deal with certain units and then destroy certain specific ones. So yeah, there's a lot of armies here as I've managed, but I'm gonna conquer the place, sack the settlement, leave the place. Let me skulls for the skull throne on this one. Should I? Or blood? Yeah, blood for the blood god, of course. Yeah, the slaughter harvesters, because that alone is gonna help me out with I could get the passive ability. That would be nice. Some passive abilities or some army abilities would be nice. Court corruption, all provinces enchants automatically. I think that's cool, but I need the summons. But as I say, the blood for the blood god actually helps out tremendously, just to ensure that they have a little bit of attrition. Right now I'm using those blood hosts like attrition stuff. So yeah, trying to ambush as always, because it's always nice. Let me go for Endless Hunter or yeah, Bone Gnawer. There we go. There we go. Let's go for Slaughter. Training, Spread Control. Well, I can't because it doesn't have another one. Yeah, all these small blood hosts that you have, they don't do anything. Yeah, look at this. If I had conquered the other time, I would be swarmed by a couple of armies. So I need to send this guy, and I really don't want to send it on the other side, because then I would split my forces. I want to join them together and ensure that I can do this. So yeah. Yeah, much better ensure that I can do this. That's cool. There we go. Always get, at this moment in time, all that I want is to get units and units and units and units. Let's go for a cult magus here, if I can. I'm gonna have a lot of cults destroyed and stuff, but I still want to try and use them for something, even if it is just to be annoying to the enemy. Having some corruption that they have to fight against. Even though the AI kind of ignores that. Yeah, Karakdramar is always a problem to go over there. Zufbar was very easy, very auto-resolvey. And now I only have like 3 places to destroy from the dwarves. And there seems to be that Tretch is actually invading the dwarves, so Skaven corruption. Yep, Tretch is actually invading. That's cool. Problem is that Tretch is actually in good relations with Goldtooth, so that means that I'm getting very poor relations against them as well. And if he attacks me at the same time that someone else attacks, like the Empire, that'll be a problem. I want to at least have Khalida destroyed and the dwarves destroyed before the Empire declares war on me. So let's get blood for the blood god here. There's the army from Khalida. There we go. Could have destroyed her, but she always has some nice damage to do, so I was weakened and I couldn't reach with my bigger army, so yeah. Now I can. Let me send just some blood hosts and see if there's any further strength here. There always is, guys. Always scout. Always scout. Let's send this as a... There we go. 3 armies. That's why you don't rush. And I'm actually glad I didn't fight Khalida, because I could have taken some losses that I couldn't replenish in time before having to attack this king. So let's ambush and hope that I get an ambush here. And let's get Scarbrand as the bait for the ambush. Overall, in Tlaqua, we have yet another army. That's going to be cool. Let's get another unit of Wrathmongers and some Chaos Knights. That'd be nice. Yeah. Oh yeah, can get an Exalted Hero as well. Training and control. I always prioritize. I wonder what you guys do to prioritize. I always prioritize getting the control stuff. Yep. Getting the blue line stuff for the heroes as well. Well, depends. If they're a caster, no. I want some specific ones. So, yep. Cult upgrades required. Yeah, that's okay. It's a lot of cults. And I was destroying and building the... Yeah, I'm destroying because I want a cult megas in each one of them. Because they're not building anything. They're not around... You know, the Corn Corruption isn't expanding as such. You know, Arbaal is not exactly the guy that can expand too much. Well, he is. He can do all the challenges all the time. And just spread corruption, spread corruption, spread corruption. But for now, the enemy has so much stuff that they can deny that corruption as well. So it will become a little bit more effective later on. Goldtooth is now ranked 9. That's how much we've been destroying him. Yep. Lots of battles to do, but yeah. So Khalida is on retreat, and I got some retreating blood hosts as well. So let's merge. Yeah, that's the purpose. I wish I could merge those guys, but yeah, it's kind of sad that you are not unable to do so. So, yep, Angrim is unlikely to come against us. And overall, the biggest battles are here against Goldtooth. I mean, I'm about to breach him, but he's also very keen to breach me. If you're having this issue of going against several armies, try to force them to split up. Like, split up your forces, and then it's the old divide and conquer. You split up your forces, and when it's your turn, you actually manage to join your forces to attack one army at a time, and you overcome that. It's not always easy to do, but if you can pull that off, then for sure, of course, you want to be fighting in numerical superiority. It doesn't matter if they have 5 or 10 armies. If you can split up and just attack one at a time, it's much easier, of course. So either use stuff like lightning strike, or you just outmaneuver them. Yeah, all the quick deals that I can have is Disciples of Ashut. I'm gonna give them the military access, because otherwise they cannot leave. They cannot leave that place of mine. So, yeah. They cannot leave that location. Yeah. Victory conditions, I already got, of course, the short victory condition, but I want the long victory condition. All that I would need is to destroy the ecstatic legions. So, but the biggest problem is that will cause the end game to begin, and only when the end game begins I'll do the long victory, and that'll likely be the end of it. So I'll do the long victory, it's over, and then I'll do just some of the end game challenges, and then I'll keep this file with me just to do total map domination. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.